Welcome to JCE Connect. In today's presentation, we'll be seeing equivalent single wheel load ESWL and one simple example. Before starting, we need to understand the axles and arrangements, axle configurations. So, any four wheeler, for example, here we can see one small uh, mini truck or a small car if you take. So there will be two tires, front tire, two tires we are observing, that is connected with one single axle inside. So similarly, if how to identify number of axles from side view, if we are observing the number of wheels, what we see here 1, 2 and 3. So this is 3 axle truck. So this is 1 and 2. This is a 2 axle truck, right? And load configuration will be seeing here for 2 axle truck, it is can carry up to 16 tons, 3 axle truck 24 tons. Like this, as the number of axles it is increasing, that is contact, that is load is transferred through more contact area through the tires. We are increasing the number of tires, right? So for single wheel it is not possible, so we are going for the dual wheel assembly. So here you can see that is single axle with single wheel, right? So both the sides single wheels are there, and the next is single axle, center single axle with dual wheel assembly. So this dual wheel assembly, uh, the maximum wheel load within the specified limit, it is not possible to carry on a single wheel. To carry a greater load, it is necessary to provide the dual wheel assembly. In the especially as the load is carried on the rear side, front will be engine and rear side passengers or goods will be carried, so that is having a higher load. So rear axles will observe these dual wheel assemblies. It may be in case of industrial vehicles, you can observe tandem axles. In case of example, these RMC concrete carrying trucks, or it may be industrial vehicles which will be carrying, so tridem axle arrangement will be there, so they will be carrying more load, heavy machineries, so on the rear side, so there will observe these multi axles. You can see this example also, some of the heavy machines which will be carried. So only long platform will be there on which we will be carrying the heavy machineries, and the bottom will be observing n number of wheels arrangements, right? So that the pavement will not fail, or the because of heavy load the vehicle wheel will not settle, or wheel will not fail, because each tire is with maintaining certain pressure. So before studying the stress overlap due to dual wheels, we need to understand the contact area. When the tire touches the pavement surface, it is the shape of the contact area is elliptical. But in flexible pavement analysis, it is approximated to circular shape for the ease of calculation. So that radius of contact area small a is equal to square root of capital P, that is load carried by that particular wheel, into pressure into pi. So that will give us the radius of contact area. In case of rigid pavement also, we are considering circular shape, and that leads to significant error. For the convenience of calculation, the elliptical shape is approximated by a rectangle and two semicircles, so that we can see in the. So from this diagram it is very clear the shape of contact area, central portion we are taking its square and semicircles. So by using this we are doing the calculations, but in general it is taken as circular. In graphical solution of equivalent single wheel load, that is a semi-rational method, that is Boyd and Foster method, and a few assumptions are made in this graphical solution. That is, equivalency concept is based on equal vertical stress, contact area is assumed as circular, influence angle is 45 degree, solid medium is elastic, homogeneous and isotropic, half space. Here we can see the arrangement of stress overlap due to dual wheel loads. What we are red color, whatever we are observing, these two tires, and that is nothing but the dual wheel assembly. Whatever small d we have mentioned, that is ideally it is very small distance when it compared to the dia of the tire, right? So here we can see the load distribution. P load is coming from coming to the wheel. Here one more wheel arrangement is there. For all that also we are considering same P value magnitude, and 2a is the diameter of the uh, contact, radius of contact area is small a, so 2a is the diameter, and small d is the distance between the two wheels, and small s is distance, center to center distance between the two wheels. That is dual wheel assembly. This entire thing is, this is only one set. For example, this is two tires, one side there is axle and the other side these two tires. So what we in the diagram what we are observing is this an arrangement, one side of the rear axle, it's not two different tires. Okay, this dual wheel assembly, the if you want the pressure at certain depth below the pavement surface cannot be obtained by numerically adding the pressure caused by one wheel load. So that is completely different to when the two wheels are there, that is you cannot directly add it. The effect is in between the single load and the two times the load carried by the any one wheel. So here we can see in this diagram, that is after a depth of d by 2 there is a overlap, right? And in if you just to simplify the analysis, the load dispersion is assumed, some of the assumptions what on that these two wheels are there, clear distance between the two center to center distance is s, small s is equal to, if you want to write s is equal to d plus 2a, right? 2a, that is d plus 2a. Why 2a? Because we are considering center to center, s is center to center, right? It's not 4a, right? And here the load distribution what we have mentioned earlier, that is it is taking place at a 45 degrees, that is mentioned, it is taking place at 45 degrees, right? And overlap what we are observing here is at d by 2 distance, there is a overlap of the stresses. And here up to a depth of d by 2 each wheel load p acts independently, and after that point the stress induced due to each load begins to overlap. At depth 2s and above, the stress induced are due to the effect of both wheels, as the area of overlap is considerable. So the total stress due to dual wheels at any depth greater than 2s is considered to be equivalent to single wheel load of magnitude 2p, right? uh, this stress is likely to be slightly greater than the stress due to dual wheels. So this equivalent single wheel load may be determined based on either equivalent deflection or equivalent stress criteria, or this multiple wheel loads are converted to equivalent single wheel load, and this value is used in pavement design. Now we'll see the graphical solution. On x-axis we see the depth on log scale, and on y-axis equivalent single wheel load on log scale. Right here the points means we have mentioned A and B. So A is D by 2 and P, whereas point B is 2S and 2P. And in between, if you want at any depth, that particular equivalent single wheel load can be found at that particular depth. So here suppose a dual wheel load assembly causes certain value of maximum deflection delta at a particular depth, say Z, depth is equal to the thickness of the pavement. As per the deflection criteria, the ESWL is that single wheel load having the same contact pressure which produce the same value of maximum deflection at depth Z. Similarly, by stress criteria, the ESWL is the single wheel load producing the same value of maximum stress at desired depth Z as the dual wheel load assembly, right? So here the 2 points A and B are plotted on log graph with the coordinates as I mentioned, A as P d by 2 and B as 2p 2s. This line AB is a plot which is the locus of points where any single wheel load is equivalent to a certain set of dual wheels. To calculate the ESWL for a dual wheel assembly, it is essential to estimate the design thickness of pavement. Thus the ESWL is obtained at assumed thickness from this graph. The same is used in design calculations. If the design thickness so obtained is equal to the estimated thickness, then ESWL calculations could be considered as correct. Otherwise the trials are made. In heavy trucks or trailers, multi-axle trucks, the load on each wheel may be further reduced by multiple wheels or tandem wheels, as we had seen the earlier axle wheel arrangements. That is, as the number of axles you increase, the load distributing points on the pavements will be more. So because of that, individual wheel load distribution will be less, or the load carried will be lesser, right? So it is possible to determine ESWL for such heavy tridem loading arrangements also, right? So this is all about graphical solution, right? So we'll be solving one simple example in the next presentation. You can analytical also you can find with the help of this simple formula. Thank you very much.